Well, hello. This is the Life with Mover channel. Welcome back. We don't do a lot of content. Probably should do more, but one of the things we talk about is racing, and it's a new racing season, and I've got new gear, and I thought we would talk about it because, well, who doesn't like a good gear review or unboxing? Thought I was going to do the ARCA test this year. Did not work out, so the only racing I'm doing as of right now is with Battle Scarred Motorsports, which is a veteran charity that supports veterans with adrenaline therapy. But still, my old gear, my helmet was awesome. It was a Simpson helmet, and unfortunately, it aged out. So they come up with new SA ratings every 5 years, and helmets generally are only good for about 10. And my helmet, despite being purchased in 2020, 2019, it was an SA 2015 helmet, and then I think the manufacturer was like 2016, even though I bought it new in 2020. But it was time to upgrade, safety first, with the new standard, new tech. So I bought everything for if I do go race ARCA this year. So it's a little overkill for Champ Car and Lemons, but I mean, better to have good gear than bad gear, and very fortunate to have a good enough year that I could splurge on safety. So first thing is the racing suit. This is the Sparco Super Allegra. It is, honestly, the suit did not age out. It's just, this is a nicer suit. I said, you know what, it's a nicer suit. Fits a little bit tighter, so I'm gonna look like a Blue Angel when I go wear it and fly. But new suit, supposed to be cooler, fits better, stretchy material, that'll be good as well. Same thing with the gloves. The gloves didn't age out either. I just was like, well, if I'm buying a new suit, I might as well get new gloves. So went away from the blue, which is what I usually went with. Went with black because I thought, again, you know, if I was doing ARCA and Bobby's car, it's a black race car. But these gloves are pretty awesome. They're called the Tide, Sparco Tide, and you can see they're padded in the center and grippy. So these will probably get dingy though, but white gloves to offset the black suit, which, you know, I think it was a good thing. And then shoes, we got these Sparco shoes that these are going to be a lot cooler because the ventilation here, they're not the suede like my old shoes. The Skid, not to be confused with Skid Actual, but these are the shoes, and they're very comfortable and probably good for endurance racing stuff. But the biggest thing is this helmet, and I have yet to open it. This is the unboxing of the helmet because I was waiting for just this moment. The racing suit I actually had gotten, and it was a little bit small, so I had to send it back, get a bigger size, so this size actually fits better. But this is the first time helmet. You can see here, this is one helmet. This is a Stylo competition. Probably one of the nicest helmets you can get. So blue visor, because I like blue visors. I'll have to install that. And I guess these are extra foamy ear pads. So I didn't think, the biggest thing, and I apologize to Stylo and Simpson because I bought this helmet December, I think 10th, and we were planning on doing the ARCA test, and I needed it for the ARCA test. So, but 10 days later, I said, hey, what's the deal? Where's the helmet? And they said, well, actually it was December 1st. It was the beginning of December. I checked in on them on December 10th. I said, where's the helmet? They said, well, it's back ordered. They only get so many shipments from Italy at a time, and mine's not on the list. Check back December 26th. Well, that would have meant not being able to make the ARCA test with it. There's Luna Bell. So I called them up and said, hey, is there anything you can do? And they said, well, we'll see. And then I didn't hear anything. And then a couple days ago, I got a notification that it had been shipped. Unfortunately, we're not doing the test, which means no Daytona. That doesn't mean I won't be doing any ARCA racing. So it's good to have, but yeah, ARCA's been a tough one. It's been a tough nut to crack. So you can see here, this is my new helmet, custom built, about as nice as you can get. It's got the air hose on the top for the air. It's got, Jesus, I don't even know how this works. It's got inside, it's got water, which will be great for the BSM stuff. It's got the eject port, which is now required for ARCA, which my old helmet had this. My old helmet did not have this. And for the comms, so it's got something I did for BSM where it runs both earplugs or, so it runs both. You can either run earbuds and comm, or you can run just straight comms. So if I don't want to wear the earbuds and just want to have the comms and the earphones, it'll run that too. So, all right, moment of truth. Let's try it on, see if it fits, because like I said, I just got it. That's nice. What do you think, Lou? I'm glad I went a size up, because otherwise it would be snug, but honestly, I don't think you need the earbuds. It's super quiet, just as it is. It's very comfortable. And then water right there. So the water connects. That's pretty cool. Wow. Very light. That's the reason I did it, because of lightness. With having my neck to be the herniated discs and stuff, I always go for the lightest I can possibly afford. And I believe this is, with everything in the box was lighter than my old helmet, even though my old helmet was also carbon fiber. So that's the full setup. Hopefully this all works very well. And we'll go racing at so the two races on the schedule right now, New Orleans, Lemons in March, even though I'm not a huge fan of the Lemons thing. I love racing in New Orleans with Battlescar Motorsports. And then the other one is Daytona in April for Champ Car, which I really enjoyed that last time we did it. So this will be a lot of fun. But yeah, Stilo Carbon. Nice helmet, a lot of nice gear, but unfortunate about the ARCA thing. That seems to be like my Moby Dick, if you will. Because last year, it is last year now, that's correct. Last year I was gonna run, well, let's go back. So 2 years ago, I was gonna run 3 years ago now. 3 years ago, I did the test and I was going to, that was it. I was just going to do the test. And then the option came to run the race and I couldn't find sponsors. And then didn't do anything in 2023 because I couldn't find sponsors. Tried to, but just couldn't square the corner. And then 2024, I went back to the airline and I'm like, well, I'm just going to self-fund this. And ARCA said, no, you're not. That's your opinion. And they said my racing experience was not such that I could be trusted on the track. On Daytona at least, and that I needed to go prove myself through short track racing, which I think is kind of nonsense. But worked a deal with Bobby, and in March of last year I was supposed to do Pensacola 5 Flags, and the day before I got a kidney stone. 9mm grounded me for a while with the airline and put me in a bad spot. And so I didn't make that race, and because I didn't make that race, I couldn't make Talladega, which I was still working on the kidney stone thing. It wouldn't have mattered anyway, because that was a whole thing. And then missed those two, and then once I missed that, it was over. And this year I contacted Bobby right after Thanksgiving, once I figured out what I wanted to do. And I said, look, let's just go do the test. I don't need to do anything else. I'll just go do the test. And because I thought that would be fun, right? I had fun the first time I did the test. Didn't matter if they let me race or not. And he said, okay, let me look into it, because some things had changed for him. And he'd get back to me like the next week. And week went by, nothing happened. I checked in about 2 weeks later. I called, couldn't get a response. And right before Christmas, I called again, because that's about the last point I could have, and didn't get an answer. So, no news to me means either ARCA said no, or he just moved on. So, which I hold nothing against Bobby. I mean, I put him in a bad spot when I couldn't make that race because of the kidney thing. I felt horrible about it, still do. I was surprised he even took my call. He wasn't mad. He's never been mad. And, it's just, I think life changes, and when sometimes you get far enough away from the sport that your priorities change too, and it just wasn't meant to be. So I can't control that. I can only control what I do, and what I do. I've got a great group of friends that got me into racing in the first place, Battle Scar Motorsports. They invited me to go race with them in New Orleans. I'm going to do that. They invited me to go race with them in that Daytona. I'm going to do that. And if later in the year I can figure out an ARCA thing, maybe I'll do that. But finding happiness where you are, I think, is important. And I'm not a aspiring NASCAR driver. I just thought it'd be cool to go do a NASCAR race or two. But I know how unrealistic that is, and make them tell you no. Sometimes the answer is no, and we accept that, and we move on. But I'll just keep racing. But got my new gear, new visor, which is awesome. It's a bluish tint here, and then yeah, that's it. That's everything. So I will post the racing videos stuff on this channel, and we will talk about it. Everything else with Mover Podcast will be coming back soon. I've got a meeting with the sheriff's office here in a little bit, so I can't do it on this Wednesday, but it will come back, and we'll do that, and maybe get some race car drivers on the show, and get some other stuff, and just have fun, enjoy life. But hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.